Hi Cancer, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Thanks for hopping into my little ferret den here. We're keeping it warm, we're keeping it cozy. Today we have a reading for you for March 10th, 2024, which is the new moon in Pisces. So the way that I'm going to read this is that I'm going to read the energy that is the most potent around the new moon. And then this is energy that you're going to be working through for the next 2 weeks until the next full moon. Okay? So most potent around the new moon, which is going to be either on the new moon or like you'll be feeling the energy more potently like within 3 days. So like a few days before the new moon, a few days after the new moon. This is getting posted on the new moon, so you're probably feeling some of this energy now, the energy that we're going to dive into. That being said, I'm going to pull a Celtic cross with the tarot. We're going to pull some oracle cards just to see what's going on, roll some dice, and we'll, let you go and let you free. So let's get into it. So as always, connect with your angels, your guides, your spirit team, whoever you connect with on the other side. I'm going to call in my own so you can help discern which messages are for you, which messages are for others, because keep in mind this is a general reading, okay? So they say take what resonates, leave the rest. Same thing applies here. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for casting your light of protection around me at this time. Thank you for protecting us, protecting this space, protecting this reading. Thank you for helping me, angel team, spirit guides, for connecting me to the Cancer energy, whether they're sun, moon, rising, if they happen to be drawn to the Cancer energies. Thank you for helping me connect with the highest healing, the highest unconditional love, and thank you for helping me channel that through this message. All right, Spirit's already telling me this is a hard spread. I see that in some of the cards. We'll get into it in a second. All right. Y'all having challenges already. Oh my gosh, this is such a challenging spread. Okay, let me roll the Astro dice first, okay? So Cancer's feeling it this cycle. Let's roll some dice. All right, so you have the, and of course you have the South Node. You have the South Node, Aries, and you have the 5th house. So, all right, so the South Node is karmic cycles, and it's almost like you're having trouble finding your groove in certain things. Aries is a new, passionate, fun new beginning. Aries kind of gives this energy of, it brings an energy of newness, excitement, passion. It's the fresh beginning because it's the beginning of the zodiac. It is a fresh beginning. It's almost like you're having trouble starting a project. 5th house is our creativity. It's our hobby house. It's our social house. It's our fun house. It's also the house of sex too. It's more, people more were like related to like taboo, like the 8th house for sex, but 5th is like casual sex, fun. I would put sex in this house as well. But specifically we're talking about, it's almost like Spirit's like you're having trouble, starting this project or starting this hobby that you want to do. It's almost, that's funny. I knew that was going to go out. I'm going to go grab another, I'm going to grab another candle, and I'm going to tell you why this is funny here in a second. The reason why this is funny is because right when I said that, it's almost like, sometimes when stuff happens like this, it's a direct message, okay? And some of you are actually having trouble. That tells me that some of you are having trouble starting passions because the flame flickers out before you can do anything about it or before you act on it. That's a big thing. If you're somebody with a lot of interests like me, that can happen where you don't know what to do or you don't know how to spend your time. You don't know, what fun things to do, or there are things that you want to do, but you're not really acting on it. And then like you're waiting for motivation to strike. You're waiting for that motivation to come. It's not always going to, it's just not always going to be like that, but it's just, I'm having trouble starting. I'm struggling to move forward with this fun thing. I'm having trouble like having fun with what I'm doing. So that being said, let's dive a little bit deeper into this Celtic cross and see what exactly we're working with here. You have the Page of Wands. Again, finding that spark, finding that inspiration. It's almost like motivation is lost on you. That spark is lost on you. It's like it keeps igniting. And then it's almost like, especially with death being the challenge here, it crosses over the Page of Wands, and it tells me that quite literally, like, death is a new beginning. I just heard this is such a chore. This is such a chore for me to do. It's almost like I have to get certain things out of the way before I can have fun doing the project that I actually want to do or doing the thing, because there are other logistics that have to get out of the way first. Or like, it's almost like it feels like a chore, but once you do it, it feels amazing. There's something that's like, but it feels, I don't know. I don't know if some of you are going through like some sort of like depression, or if it's like this weird, I feel like this weird dampening feeling in my heart, and I can't help but feel like there's something that needs to be processed. Some of you might actually like be processing a death, a loss, because I'm feeling like tragedy in the heart. I'm feeling grief. I'm feeling like this deep, dark, like I'm feeling really drained. Like my heart aches a lot. So if this is where you are, wow, okay, let's lessen this a little bit. If you hear squeaking, my dog Milo, we gave him a new toy and he loves it. So he's squeaky, squeaky. His new toy. If you need moments of joy, listen to a dog having fun with a squeaky toy. I don't know. It feels like there's this depression or something that's squeezing my heart. So it's grief of losing a loved one. It's either struggling to process an actual death, or it's struggling to get started with something because of the loss of something else, or just this deep grief, deep depression. It's like really intense. Wow. This is where I'm going to cut. I'm going to go find another deck for you guys, and I'm going to be right back. Okay. This is the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck by Tanya, Carroll, Richardson. I've pulled from this deck before. If you've seen my collective readings before, I am going to pull a card from here just to get, like, I need to pull two. Spirit's like, you need to pull two, because we're going to dive into this feeling right here, this challenge, because there's more to this, and I feel like I need to get clear on what exactly I'm working with, because this feels really heavy. I don't really want to swim in this, to be honest. I don't want to swim in this myself. I've felt this pain before, and it feels like despair. It feels like grief. It feels like it's squeezing my heart, so I have to separate from it a little bit, and we're just going to talk about it, okay? So we're going to pull from this. I mean, talk to me about it. What is it? Okay. So, okay. This does feel like a heartbreak of some kind. So with healing, you have a healing card. Grieve what never was. A path never taken in the past may have involved a hard, complicated choice you or others made. Or maybe a dream you held dear simply never came true. Or possibly a relationship never reached its full potential. It's healing now to grieve what never was, which can actually help you appreciate what is. Seek solace. So I feel like that is what it is. I'm just going to let it be as it is, because this one is processing your grief directly. So this deck is split up in, there are grief cards, grace cards, and healing cards. This one was healing card. This one is grief. So let's talk about the grief. It says establish routines and daily rhythms. This is going to be that follow-up. So this is telling me what's going on. This is the why. This is explaining like kind of why you're feeling what you're feeling. You know, it's saying this particular thing happened. So giving it space, it helps you appreciate for what is and finding that solace. How can you find your solace? It almost feels like this is kind of the next step. It says establish routines and daily rhythms. So regular routines throughout the day that are gentle and consistent ground the nervous system and offer a sense of stability. Simple routines like getting up at the same time every morning, walking the neighborhood, or meditating for 10 minutes can be therapeutic. Don't make routines too rigid or restrictive. Do make your own rules and discover your rhythm. Okay, so honestly, this for some of you, I see like an interpretive or contemporary dance, or just something like dancing out with the leaves or the wind or something, dancing outside, or just like getting that fresh air and just allowing yourself to be out in nature. That feels important for some of you, but allowing, like, establishing that connection, establishing that routine is going to help work through that grief. You have what's coming up from within the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups, the Queen of Cups, I feel the sorrow. Sometimes, for whatever reason, there are some queens. I see the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords, depending on the deck. For this one in particular, it's giving Shadows of Queen of Swords vibes from the Tarot of Dragons, which is a very sorrowful card. This queen carries a lot of sorrow. You don't necessarily have to identify as a female to identify as this queen. You could be male, female, identify however you wish. But it's somebody who carries a lot of sorrow. This is somebody who has been through the emotional ringer and back, but overall, I just feel like she accomplishes her goal. The Queen of Cups is very focused. She has cultivated her emotional intelligence. She has cultivated her own awareness because she has been through, I just heard like several strikes. She's been through several strikes of her own. She's struck out. She's been struck. Like, I feel like they were very like apparent with that. Spirits like being very forward about like, it's, they're giving me like a hit or miss type of deal where it's like you've missed a lot or you struck out a lot, or you've been through the ringer in that sense, and you've cultivated your intuition through a lot of that. Some of you have been in fight or flight situations where you had to cultivate your emotional intelligence in order to sense if there was danger, because you were tiptoeing around other people, because that was just the environment that you found yourself in, or that you were in. That was the environment that you couldn't escape from or whatever. And that's something that you had to deal with, right? So you've cultivated that inner awareness. You've cultivated that, like you can pick up on nonverbal cues very well. You can read other people. So your emotional intelligence is very high, but what's coming up from within right now is offering your sense of discernment to your situation and being like, what is viable for me to do right now? Where can I put my energy? Where is this energy good? Like, does this energy, pushing all this energy into something, benefit me? And there's something here about like, you're like trying, and it's just like, I keep hearing like, it's broken, I can't work with it. It's almost like you're trying to do something with the single staff, but the staff is in pieces, and you're like, it's broken, I can't work with it, I can't do anything with it. And let me work with this for a minute, Spirit. What do you want them to do with that? I'm seeing someone who is highly intuitive and highly spiritual, and I see them sitting and meditating with it. Because you're not meant to do. You're not meant to sit there and do something with it. You're meant to sit back and tune into your awareness and fall into a meditation and like work with it and figure out what you're meant to do with that broken stick, what you're meant to do with it, because there's something about a mending and healing process. But whether you choose to bring that broken stick with you is going to be up to you. I'm not clear on what exactly this metaphor is pertaining to, but I see you like trying to do something again and again, and then it's just not working. So backing up, falling into a meditation, and there's something about believing in your own personal power here. We're shifting into the recent past here with the devil, where you've really lacked that personal power, that belief in your own personal power. The devil is the card of, it's basically mind magic of feeling like you've been controlled, feeling like you're stuck in a situation that you can't get out, or getting caught into like in life's everyday dramas. I feel like for you, this is getting caught in somebody else's drama. You might have found yourself in a toxic situation, a toxic relationship. You might have found yourself just in a period where you just did not, like, if there's just a situation where you feel like you couldn't have gotten out of, or like you feel that your power, it's like you're in a space now, I feel, where your power has returned, but because you've had to let go of that toxicity, or it's like because you've had to let go of a certain mindset where you felt like you were caged in. I feel you like you've returned home to yourself. It's just a matter of healing and not expressing judgment towards yourself, offering yourself, there's like a grace and compassion that you need to give yourself while you heal from the person that you used to be. And the life that you wanted, like, it's almost like you had a situation, you wanted it to be something specific, and then it wasn't that, and it didn't turn into that, and you had to let it go, you had to step away, or something happened and it just ended, or something fell apart, and you were like, okay. It's almost like you needed to, like, miracles happened, Spirit said. Miracles happened to bring you to where you are now. And Spirit wants you to, like, gain, like, offer yourself space. Like, literally, they're showing me somebody who has cluttered stuff and, like, they're putting air between themselves and all of their environment. So Spirit's asking you to do that so that you can make space for appreciation. Like, you need to have more space in your life so that you can sit, more space to, like, sit and process and heal. And then just, I heard, like, you're safe. You're safe now. You're safe. And that's something to keep in mind. That is something that you need to hold to the back of your mind, is that you're safe now. And to allow yourself space to grieve, to heal. It's referring back to this healing card of giving yourself space, but it's almost like you need that gap. You need that space. So pushing everything back for a second, stop trying to do, and then just fall into that space. Because even though you have South Node, Aries is very much do energy. It's very passionate. But it's a skill in discernment to know when is the time to act, especially with this South Node karmic thing working in your astro dice with the 5th house in terms of fun. Maybe you're just trying to do too much and you just need to fall into a state of play to help restore that balance. There's play, there's work, play, and rest. They're three different things, but I feel like you need more rest and you need more play. But there's something about making that room for time, reflection, and healing, making that space. The focus here with the Three of Wands, I do see you wanting to push forward on something. I do see you wanting to make something happen. I heard you're worrying too much about the future. So I always tell people, I've been telling people a lot in these readings this last week, there's this energy of wanting to focus on steps 3 and steps 4, when really that's the divine's job, because that has not entered your energy yet. What's in your energy is step 1 and 2. And when you learn to only, like, we focus on steps 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 because it's out of insecurity. It's a lack of faith in ourselves, our lack of faith in the divine. But when we focus on steps 1 and 2 and we work with the most present energy in our daily lives, I actually was talking to a friend who I was giving her a reading similar of okay, well, it feels like you've been before you've been focused on steps 3 and 4 a lot, but it's very dark, you can't see it. So it's basically it's pointless to work with it because you just can't see it. You can see steps 1 and 2, and that's going to be where your magician energy is the strongest. And she had said, I'm finding that's steps 1 and 2. That's where I want to live. That's where I want to put my attention because I'm having more fun that way. And that's the key here, is that you have more fun when you're trusting in the first 2 steps that you see rather than needing to know. Because when you need to know the later steps, it's not like we need to know it, but it's usually out of fear or insecurity because we want to feel safe. We want to feel like we're going in the right direction. We want that reassurance. But that's not really what having faith in the divine is all about. So it's not worrying so much about what's way in the future, what's to come. The Three of Wands is starting a journey. The Three of Wands means that you have a plan, you have a direction. You might not know the specifics, but you have a general idea of the rotation that your life is taking. They're actually showing me somebody who was facing a direction, but now they have rotated and they're reorienting themselves to a new landscape or a new direction or a new passageway or journey. This isn't somebody else's path. You are reorienting yourself back to your path. I felt like you were living for somebody else, or you were conforming to something else or some situation or some past. I'm hearing a past lover for some of you, but a past relationship. Some of you have just been conforming to somebody else or something else, and now you've reoriented your path to face your path. It's winding away from everything, and that's what it's meant to do. You're meant to roll through this change because you have the Eight of Cups here in your recent future, which is, or sorry, not your recent future, but your near future, I should say. Your Eight of Cups is walking away. The Eight of Cards is, I just heard leave. You're leaving. You're walking away from it. And if you've already physically left something, this is healing from your grief and absolving those attachments. So we can still be emotionally attached to a situation, even though it's not physically present anymore, and it could still be kind of draining our energy. But there's almost something about there is something to move on. There's something to leave behind here. And that's what you are working towards. When you make space for healing, when you allow yourself those gaps to breathe and to be in the essence of your present life, that's important. Something about being in the essence of your present life, being in the present moment, and just don't think about anything, don't do anything, just allowing space in your schedule, in your day, to breathe and to sit in the silence. That's going to help you process things and move through this a lot easier. It's going to make healing a lot smoother. I see running waters. It feels almost like rapids. It feels like rapids. It feels very rocky, but it when you make space, it smooths out. It's more gentle. It's not as rough. It's not as rough pounding on the rocks. It's gentle, it smooths down a little bit, if that makes sense. That's just what I'm seeing here. And the thing that I like to point out with the Eight of Cups is there's an eclipse here. There's an eclipse happening in the upper right hand corner, and I guess the upper left when you're looking at it. But this is about, eclipses are huge powerhouses, powerhouses of change. When eclipses happen, I don't know about y'all, but I feel eclipse energy hardcore. Usually stuff happens in my life around the new moon and full moon, which is why I love doing these readings for the different signs, because new moons and full moons, I always do a 2-week reading for myself just to get myself oriented. And and I read for myself every day, but having big readings like that helps me plot goals, do my ambitions and like all that stuff and have like a map or like a direction to face. And eclipses, you can feel the energy of eclipses, and it's big energy of change, and that's what you're going through, is this big energy of change. You have the U position, the Four of Cups in the U position. The Four of Cups is about being picky, being choosy. You felt slighted in the past. There's a little bit of disappointment as to like maybe the option that you chose. Don't be too hard on yourself with choosing that option. Now you know better. I just heard like it first tasted sweet, but then it got really sour and you spat it out and you're like, oh no, I made an awful choice. But you can't judge yourself because it tasted sweet initially. So of course you kept drinking it because it tasted sweet. Now you know, now you can recognize it's like a signature sweet. So now you know that if you were to taste from another cup and you tasted something similar, you now know what to look out for. You have cultivated with this Queen of Cups, what's coming up from within, you've cultivated that discernment now. You can notice the red flags of the next relationship, the next situation, the next thing that you pursue, you are noticing the red flags of it now, or you are seeing the signs, okay? But that Four of Cups, you have discernment, and it's just, again, this is forgiving the choice that you made before. This is forgiving your past self for making those choices. You didn't know any better. Okay, Spirit's like, you didn't know. It was not, I'm hearing like it was not your call, or a choice was made. Something was made out of your hands or something. There's like some type of blame game you have going on with yourself, and it is not your fault. That is not your energy to take on. And Spirit's not asking you to point the finger at anybody. But there are other figures in your life, or there's like that other person that you're dealing with, or the other energy that you're dealing with has their own shit to work through, and that's their karma. That's their issue. Not that they're at fault, but that's their energy. And like, it's not your fault. Spirit's like, it is not your fault. So offering yourself forgiveness, kindness, and compassion. The word forgiveness and compassion specifically are coming to mind very, 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 very strong. And it is so, so important. Like if you're going to take away anything from this reading at all, Cancer, it's going to be offering, like taking away that self-blame. There's so much self-blame here. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I don't even know, like it is like overtaking the reading, and it feels very all-consuming. So allow yourself to work through that grief. And again, just try to, even if it's painful, even if it doesn't make sense, look at your past situation, take the time to meditate, go through your past situation, and when you're reliving it in your mind, or when you are viewing it, I just felt, nope, I heard, nope, I'm not doing that. But if you even just approach it, reframe it in a gentler way. Not like, you have to feel it, you have to process it. You're going to feel angry. You're going to feel angry to the other person or situation. You're going to feel angry towards yourself, but allow yourself to feel these things. But it's important to look back and to reframe things. Reframe things to how you know you should be feeling, or how you like think, like what would be like, because I feel like intuitively you know what's going to benefit your healing, how to frame it, but you have to actively look back and tell yourself again and again, this happened because I thought this, and you know, this person made this choice, or this situation happened and I responded in this way because that was the knowledge that I had at the time, and I thought that this would happen as a result. My intention was this. I did what I could. And letting it be that. Just allowing that and accepting that. And saying that is good enough. My choices were good enough. Despite everything that happened after, my choices were good enough. And there, Spirit says, there, that's it. And then don't touch it. Like, you know, just, they're literally writing it, and then they went, whoop, and then they backed up. They were like, that's it. So, getting used to that, calling it a fact and getting used to that, and just, that is how you accept yourself. That is one of the ways that you can approach it, but that is how you can work towards accepting it, is acknowledging that it happened and saying, that's okay that I made that choice. It caused all this shit, yes, but no. Leaving it at that, say, I used this knowledge at the time. I had a limited perspective. I am better now, but it's not even that. It's because you're not excusing your mistake. You are literally saying, I did what I did, and just allowing it to be a fact and accepting it. It's that acceptance part that's a thing, without incurring blame. That's important. So next up, you have the Emperor. The Emperor is in your environment. The Emperor, again, I don't know, I'm feeling a big control thing. Maybe you found yourself in a controlling situation with somebody else, or just with a toxic work environment or something, but there's something here about a controlling thing, controlling person. I just heard a controlling man. Doesn't have to be a man for some of you, but a controlling other being. It could be an authority figure that exerted too much authority over you, and you're just extracting yourself from that situation, and you're learning how to embrace this Emperor authority for yourself. You're learning how to step into your own power. You're learning how to carve your own way into the world, but it's like you're not quite there yet. It's like needing to heal first, but it's like this is how you take back your own power, is by healing from this first. In your hopes and your fears, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is assessing, looking at the facts, getting your facts straight. In your hopes and your fears, it's almost like I do actually see more of a future planning thing for this. It's like, okay, well, my path has been reoriented. I'm facing in a different direction. And now it's assessing the facts. How far have I come? Where do I need to go? And it's almost like you're taking inventory of your stock, your finances, your belonging. Like, I don't know, I'm getting like very material stuff. I mean, the Pentacles is a material card, but it's almost like you're taking stock of your wants, your desires, things that you've gained up until this point, where it is that you want to go. And there is a little bit of a dreaming element to this, but I feel like you are already connected with what you want. You're already connected with the things that you want to do, but there's a lack of motivation to get there. So reconnecting, like right now, it doesn't feel like you're pushing, like it feels like now's not the time to push for these things. I do feel like you want to start going on this adventure. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it, but I want to rest is the only thing that I'm hearing. I want to rest. I want to be with me for a while. You don't have to keep this camel moving through the desert, because you want to stop at this oasis and take your time. You want to swing on the hammock. You want to read a book. You want to drink an alcoholic drink from Bahama Breeze or something. I don't know. But you want to sit there and you want to relax. You want to put on your shades and you want to kick back. That's the type of energy you got to harness right now. That's the energy that I'm feeling from this. Your outcome is the Five of Swords. The outcome, this is fighting with yourself. You could be a little bit defensive towards other people while you're healing. This is why, like, it's important to lean on your support system, I think. But it's also good, like, I feel like this is more of fighting with yourself. This is more of a clash. Usually Five of Wands is the inner conflict, but that's usually, for me, I see like inner feelings conflicting with that card. With Five of Swords, I see you quite literally using words to smite yourself down. And that's not, like, it's almost like you're arguing with yourself. As you're working through this healing process, you're going to find yourself arguing with yourself and being like, it's going to be like rival thoughts. Being like, okay, like, it's almost like, okay, NF has been coming up a lot because I've been listening to a lot of his raps, and he writes about a lot of deep shit, y'all, okay? And it reminds me of that song, Hope, where, you know, it's very popular on TikTok, but there's this, towards the end of the rap, he's arguing with himself, where this voice, this demonic voice, or basically him talking to himself, this voice in him keeps trying to tell him that he is not enough, and then he keeps saying, I know I can change, and then he's like, gosh, I don't know exactly how it goes, but he's like, you don't know what you're doing, you can't do this, you're not made for this, you are not enough, and then he's just arguing back with that voice and saying, we are not the same, you're like, I am not you, you are not me, like, we are not the same, you don't, and then there's like, you don't have the heart, you don't have the strength, and you don't have the will, and he's like, not running away. And then he talks about in the end about how he is taking the reins, and that sends that doubt flying. And he goes, no, I'm taking the reins. And then the voice is gone because he took control. He took power. And that's kind of how, like, I get the chills when I think about it, but I would go listen to NF Hope and listen to that end part where he's fighting with himself, because that feels so much like this energy that you're about to go through with this healing process. As you're trying to rework, you're working through your self-doubt, your self-blame, and it's almost like you're battling it out with yourself. That's the energy that I feel. So that being said, let's pull some other cards and see what else we got going on for you. I just see, like, again, rest, healing, assessing, and making space in, like, the cracks and crevices of your life so that you can breathe and process and feel this pain, because it feels heavy. It feels, like, Spirit told me at the beginning, this was like, y'all heard me, immediately, it was like, they were like, this is a challenging reading, and I was like, this is challenging energy, like, it's tough, very deep. Okay, see what we got going on for you. Go the distance for yourself. You're worth it. You know, you have this leopard spirit or cheetah. No, it's a cheetah, I think. This cheetah spirit goes the distance. So he really is, he's going the extra mile. He's putting in the work, and he's making sure that he is taken care of. And whatever work that you feel like you have to do, putting in the work, putting in that time and effort and space for yourself. You also have to the sea. You also have, these two cards have sevens here. You have 47, you have 7. So 7s are actually angel numbers. I find them to be high manifesting numbers, but also angels are with you and close to you at this time. Angels are helping you grieve. They're helping you process, and they're helping you move on. Specifically, I literally just see them have this pool of golden light, and they're just, I see them going, woo, like, you know, swirling it around and then just sending it through your heart and back. And they just keep sending this golden light through your heart, taking it out, and then putting it back in and taking it out. And it's just like, they're just going to keep going until like, you feel better. They're just going to keep going until like you've integrated the lessons, specifically until you've integrated the lessons, and then like you're moving on and you're stepping more into your power, but like they're helping you heal from that grief. It's just healing. I just see them healing and sending that golden, like weaving that golden light through your heart. To the sea, you don't know what's next. You don't need to know. You have a blank map and you are using a compass and you're just hopping in the boat and you're saying, let's go. You don't know what's ahead. And, I always find the ocean pretty scary because, you know, when I look out, when I'm in the boat and I look down in the water, like I don't do oceans. I can't stand oceans. I haven't been on the ocean. I don't want to go in the ocean, but I will go in the ocean because I don't like having fears. But it's dark under there. You can't see what's underneath, and you know there's a whole other world underneath. And there's a fear, obviously, of like, you know, sinking or like going the wrong direction or, oh my gosh, I'm stranded. Like, you know, I mean, like all that stupid, you know, I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and be Titanic. Like, I'm getting out of, you know, I go a little bit nuts with boats. But that being said, I do sense this little bit of fear getting in the boat because you don't know what's underneath the water, underneath you. You don't know what's ahead. You don't know where you're going. You have a map, but it's blank. So you basically just don't have a map. You're basically the one charting it. And you're like, I have no idea what to go. But Spirit says, when you set sail, we're right behind you. They're controlling the direction of the wind, and they will help push you in the direction that you need to go, and they will send you signs. Don't worry too much about missing the signs. Don't worry too much about, like, you know, oh, but will I get it? Will I, you know, when, like, try not to think about it, because honestly, Spirit not only communicates with you externally through signs that you see, but they will communicate with you through your feelings. If you feel like you want to jump on a ship and move to London, like if that's what you feel in your heart, honestly, and you're like, have like the intention is building over time, and find yourself packing boxes and you're like, well, how am I going to get to London? Keep packing, because that's where your heart is calling you to go. Okay. Like for some of you there, I do see a move. I do feel it's like a spontaneous adventure coming for you guys. It doesn't have to be a full on move, but some of you could be just being like, know what? I'm just going to go travel. I don't know how I'm going to travel. I don't have the money. I don't have the time or blah, 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 whatever. But all of a sudden, some of you will find yourself freed up with the more you intend on, like the more you focus on that intention, but like feeling that and feeling like that, oh, like, you know, I'm feeling the need to go out on a journey. Some of you are about to go, some of you, Cancer, are about to go on a spiritual trip. So I know some people I know somebody that went to California, and it's actually a stereotype. You go to California to find yourself, but you know, he went to California for a few months for work, and then he came back and he felt like a changed person. Like he came back a completely different person. And I also know somebody who went to like on like a spiritual adventure and like backpacked through India and then came back. I know of another friend who went to Italy and then came back. And a lot of these people, like, they didn't know how they were going to get there. The opportunity just presented itself, and they were like, oh, snap, okay. Like, they were basically given this. So I see some of you going on a spontaneous adventure, or even setting aside the money and just deciding, okay, I'm just going to go. Maybe even thinking about going for a while. Some of you, I see Japan for some of you, going to Japan. Egypt's another one. I see, like, seeing monuments. I see seeing like historical places and like feeling the energy of those places, or there's something about just going to travel to find peace. But there's something about a spiritual adventure to be had. Reminds me of that book, Eat, Pray, Love. I haven't finished it yet, but it is one of those books where like, oh my gosh, just, oh, look it up. Oh my gosh, you just gotta look it up. Like, it's such a good book, and I love the way that she writes. She's so funny. And there's just something about like her wit in that book that I just love. There is a movie though, if you wanted to watch that. If you're more of a movie watcher, that's fine. But it is about somebody who travels and, you know, records her experiences in that. And Spirit actually tells me, like, it's funny, just sharing this, because I think it's funny, or I just think it's really sweet. Spirit says, like, you know, learn to pray through this book. This book will teach you how to pray. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I haven't finished it yet, but now that I'm thinking about that, I have to get, like, as soon as I'm done with this reading and I'm done with the other 2 water signs, I gotta hop on that, because now I am oh so curious. And I've been on, like, the biggest reading kick. I love to read. So that being said, you don't know what's ahead. Some of you are quite physically traveling, but going the distance. Some of you it's funny, go the distance to the sea. Some of you are going long distances, so there's that too. But putting in the work for yourself and actually taking that trip or taking that vacation, or even if it's not a trip or vacation, just allowing yourself to go in whatever direction Spirit guides you, and trusting that. Let's pull some other cards and see what else is going on for Cancer here around the new moon in Pisces. Oh, guys, I literally just said, some of you have to do that Eat, Pray, Love book. I mean, obviously you don't have to, but that Eat, Pray, Love book, I think it was a movie. Well, I don't know why the name Julia Roberts is coming to mind. I don't know if she's an actress or she's the one that wrote it. I don't know. But that being said, like, it's coming specifically to mind, okay? Mother, Father, God is literally talking about our connection to the divine. It is our connectedness to source. So finding your connection to source is what this healing journey is about. And you also have trust the universe. So trusting this, I don't know, when you take this path, you will learn to trust. I'm getting chills. When you take this path, you will learn to trust. Trusting yourself, trusting in the universe. I just heard, like, trust me. Spirit's like, trust me. That's what you're going to learn. And then, like, improving your connection, like sensing that unconditional loving presence, feeling that guidance, feeling like you're not alone. That's what this next phase is all about. Okay, and then next steps or any other extra messages. Ooh, hi. Solitude. Yep, I just said withdraw for a while. As this is Spirit saying, I said what I said and I meant it. You got the card of solitude. So this is being on your own for a while in the tarot. This is akin to the Hermit card. You're just withdrawing to the self. This is where we gain the most of our wisdom. This is where we gain, I don't know, some, like, that 5th house is coming to mind again, like just drawing to yourself to have fun, to give yourself a healing space. But solitude, like it's so funny because, like, in the solitude, it's so much like the Hermit card. I'm just going to describe the Hermit card because it's a tower, a pillar standing on this island by itself, but it also has this lamppost here. And the Hermit is holding a lantern. And this is literally the light of knowledge. Like, seeing your way through the dark. That is light that is cultivated over, like, I just heard, like, you have a plentiful amount of knowledge. You have a plentiful amount of lessons that you've learned, not just from this lifetime, but of previous lifetimes. I feel like I'm talking to some pretty old souls here, because they're giving me, like, a collection of lifetimes. They're giving me, like, a thousands of lifetimes type of deal. For some of you, you've been around for a few hundred years. For some of you, you've been around for, like, thousands. You've been around the spiritual block, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you've been places, okay? I'm getting other dimensions. I'm getting, like, if you connect with, like, alien energies or, like, star beings or something, like, there's just something about, like, going off, like, Palladian, Atlantis. I don't know what they call them because I'm not as well versed, but those types of things are coming to mind. Like, Archangel Orion works closely with that. So if you work with angels, connecting to Archangel Orion can help you, like, connect with those lives, or, like, connect with those other energies that are, like, out, like, in other dimensions, because that's Archangel Orion's domain. But that specifically, that was interesting. But going back to yourself, that's going to be important, is like getting that solitude, so that way you can allow for that space. Deep healing, deep thinking, and, like, healing. Not even deep thinking, but it's almost like you're repairing. I see lots of band-aids over you, and then, like, it's just the healing journey. It's just the healing process. So that being said, it's the healing process. It's also, like, just writing yourself up again. Like, it's just, you need time to yourself for a while. Rolling some angel dice here. You have 187. I'm pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. I'm always going to read these messages twice. And then we'll close out your reading after this. What you have experienced and what you have learned are gifts that allow you to understand who you are and what talents you have. Take time to see that you are a special soul. We just talked about your soul and how much wisdom it has. Let me say this one more time. What you have experienced and what you have learned are gifts that allow you to understand who you are and what talents you have. Take time to see that you are a special soul. So that being said, Cancer, again, taking that time and that space, this is going to help you understand how special you are, how, like, this is training yourself for, like, to unconditionally love yourself. And exercising that compassion, forgiveness is going to be the first step. But I feel so much love. I'm hearing Spirit say, I can't wait for you to achieve this. I can't wait for you to see how special you are. Like, they are excited. They're like, I feel their energy. There's so much, like, it's such a soft love, and it's like a high vibe excitement too of like, I can't wait for you to see how special we believe you are, how special you really are. They're like, if you can see yourself through angels' eyes, that is all Spirit wants for us. If we can see ourselves through the eyes of angels. So, that being said, I actually think, Cancer, look out for an Archangel Raphael message, because I'm going to be channeling this specifically. It's going to be targeted, like, it's going to be for the collective, but I'm going to take that. That's going to be my next reading, I know, is channeling a message from Archangel Raphael. And that's going to be my next collective, because I feel like that's highly needed. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. If you feel called to listen, if you feel called to tune into the angels, okay? That being said, that was your reading, Cancer. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope this helped you, and I'm sorry you're going through a tough time. I really felt that, and I've never felt grief. It's not like I've never felt grief like that. I felt it. I haven't felt it in a long time. So I really wanted to just cry. So I wish nothing but the best for you. I hope for your healing. I'm sending you positive, golden, loving vibes. If this resonated with you in any way, go ahead, like and subscribe and all the things. That way you can keep up to date with what I'm doing, what I'm posting. Keep an eye out for that Archangel Raphael message. That's specifically for you. Also for, again, it's like a general, so it'll be for anybody who needs it. But like, God, I just want to connect with the angels. I feel like it's going to be a collective reading. It's going to be specifically through Archangel Raphael, and then I think I'm going to channel, for whatever reason, there's two other archangels coming to mind. Archangel Orion is coming through too, and maybe Archangel Azrael for some reason. And he's the angel of transition, so like of change, transition. A lot of people call him the angel of death. So watch out for that. I'll actually write that down so I don't forget once we're off of this. But that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.